God, 2025. I'm finally at a place with my art that I feel like I have an actual art style, and it's starting to feel really good. But no one cares about that. No one cares. Let's scroll back a bit. Rewind. The year is 2020. 5 fucking years ago. When did that? Huh? At this point, I'm 2 years into taking art a little bit more seriously, and this is around the first time that I'm actually developing some sort of an art style. But because I was 13 at the time, I did not have any skill. So today, I'm going to be trying to recreate, in a way, what I wanted my art style to look like when I was 13, ignoring my current style completely. Maybe this will make little 13-year-old me feel a little bit better. So sit back, relax, and watch as my brain melts back 5 years' time. First, we have to gather our references. As a baby artist, I tended to take heavy inspiration from the styles of media that I consumed, so sometimes when you're looking through my older sketchbooks, it can be hard to see if I even really had an art style of my own. So to really see how I was drawing at the time, we have to look back at what inspired me at the time. This was a point in my life where all I did all day was just draw and watch anime. I remember watching entire seasons in one day, multiple times a week. But the shows that etched their art style into my 13-year-old brain were shows like Haikyuu and Demon Slayer, Fairy Tail, even Voltron. And one thing that I noticed about all of these shows is that they have the same kind of, sort of, ish nose shape. And I think it's a pretty common pattern that I'm seeing a lot in this older art, with, you know, the few exceptions where I just didn't draw the nose.
Don't really know what that was about, but you know.
Luckily, I have a lot of video evidence of making these drawings because I have been making YouTube videos for a very long time. So I'll have some good B-roll to put in this video. And also, you know, watching me draw out what I'm doing is a good way for me to understand what my art style was at the time, blah, 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 blah. You know, the entire point of this video. It's also very, very common in these older drawings that I'm drawing other people's characters because I just didn't have any of my own. But while younger me may not have had any OCs, I do now. Let's talk about Unveil. Unveil is a character sharing website with over 200,000 users and lots more to come, including you. And I'll tell you why. Unveil lets you upload your characters to your personal profile, put up a full gallery of showcase art, and you can write down what makes that character so special. Show the world your precious children, or creatures, or wait. What is that? Unveil is a place filled with community and creation, with so many people to interact with. Recently, I've noticed a spike of engagement with my very own character posts, and I'm so excited that you guys like my designs. My favorite part about Unveil is their effort to keep art human. You know your art is safe when using this platform because they are 100% anti-AI and never NFT. Your creatures are safe, my friend. Personally, I love taking in a good story, so I spend a lot of my time on Unveil's Explore tab. There are so many characters with worlds ready for you to dive into. I've said it once and I'll say it again for those in the back. Unveil values the hard work and time that it takes to be creative, appreciating the art and the people on their platform. So what's the holdup? Click my link in the description to join Unveil today. Thank you so much once again to Unveil for sponsoring this video. Going into this, we are going to be completely ignoring my current art style, which is very different to what I wanted when I was 13. Poor little me. Didn't know any better. While there is a lot of style and consistency, I think that if you look closely, there are some things that do remain throughout all my drawings. First, we should be pointing out the mistakes, such as how I used to draw heads so large and the hands so small, and the ever so obvious always drawing the same body type. We gotta change that later, gang. I did not have any confidence in my lines. I didn't have very much knowledge of anatomy, and for some godforsaken reason, every single character looked exactly the same.
That's the same person with different hair. Are you kidding?
Next, we should look at the positives. Well, maybe not so much positives, but like the neutral qualities of my older art. When it came to the facial features, I had a very specific way of drawing the nose, like we already talked about. The eyeliner and eyelashes are very evident, and in every single drawing, I was using very round shapes for literally everything, which is kind of like the opposite of what I do now. I like a lot of jagged lines, so like, it's kind of weird. I wonder when that switch happened. And the last thing that I was just kind of really obsessed with doing was just adding sparkles literally everywhere.
Like, gang, we get it. It's your month, but come on.
So after doing some sketch warm-ups, I decided to go straight into doing some real attempts. For this, we're going to be doing some direct redraws, and I decided to take the first few rounds of the redraws traditionally because it would feel weird to not do it at least once in this video. Because if you didn't know, I started out my entire art journey completely and entirely traditional. I mean, I didn't start making digital art videos up until like 2 years ago. 3 years ago? I don't know. Take this as a sign to whip out your sketchbook. Whip it out. On the left side of the page, we're going to be doing direct redraws and then also redrawing it in how my art style is now. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be doing this throughout the entire video, as it is a lot of art and I don't know if I have time. But the main thing we're focusing on is just really trying to get the reimagination of my old art style all figured out. The style comparison is more of just, you know, for fun. This specific drawing is one that lives rent-free in my head, as it's like one of the only drawings from this age where I was drawing my own character concept. It's not really so far as an OC, but at least it was a character design of my own, you know? Even if it's not in like my current style, it still feels really nice to just get this one out of the closet to see the light of day, you know? I do think that in this one you can still see my current style showing through in a lot of aspects, so I don't think this is exactly what 13-year-old me wanted, but for one of the first attempts, it's really not that bad. Plus, I haven't worked with alcohol markers in a hot second, so using these was like... oh my god, it was so awesome. Because alcohol markers used to be my main art medium. It was all that I did, it was all that I knew. I feel like all digital artists, including me, just need to take a step back from our giant tablets and just... eat some paper. You know? Who's with me? Who's with me on that one? And while most of the art that I made while I was 13 was traditional, there are a couple lone survivors of some digital art I made back in the day. And I'm a firm believer that art styles can be transferred between mediums, so let's finally get over to my tablet. I will say, these old digital drawings are few and far between. Not that I didn't make a lot of digital art at the time, it's just that the digital art that I did make was stored on old phones with IBIS Paint, so it's safe to say that they're lost to time, chat. The only way I was actually able to find these next two drawings were by old posts on YouTube. Yes, they're unlisted. Don't even try. You know, this drawing is actually another drawing that lives rent-free in my head because it was another character that was completely my own. To put it plainly, it was very rare for me to have original ideas, so let me enjoy this a little, alright? For this first redraw, I didn't really go about it the right way, if I'm being honest. I started drawing on my tablet the way that I usually do, using my favorite brush on Clip Studio Paint, and if you don't use this brush, chat, you're missing out. And instead of doing line art, I cleaned up my sketch and turned that into the line art, which is how I do my art right now. It wasn't like intentional, I just like got so into the drawing that like I kind of forgot what I was doing. Like, oh my god. But after I almost entirely finished the drawing, I just realized that it didn't really look like my old art, which, you know, is a good thing, but you know what I mean. So I turned down the opacity of my cleaned up sketch layer and made line art with very, very thin lines. In my old art, you'll notice that there isn't really very much line variation, and this could be, you know, due to the fact that I was on IBIS Paint, but honestly, I think that if I was trying to go for line weight, I could have done it, and in my traditional drawings too, that you just don't really see a lot of line weight, so we're carrying that through here. Obviously keeping the same nose shape, and I keep mentioning the nose. Facial anatomy in someone's art style is so integral. It's one of the ways that can make your art recognizable or not. And it's not just the nose, obviously, it's the eyes and the mouth and the eyebrows. Like, for example, how I used to draw all eyebrows paper thin. And in doing this reimagining, I couldn't really bear to make the eyebrows as thin as I used to make them, but I made them thinner than what I typically draw now, just to appease my 13-year-old self, you know? I really love drawing eyebrows. Everyone hates them, and I'm like, why do you hate eyebrows? They're so expressive. Get with a program. You know, as much as I took a lot of inspiration from the shows and media that I consumed, I never really drew that much fan art. Every once in a while you'll see a little fan art that I did, but I never really stuck to it. But yeah, here's a fan art that I made of Hachi from Haikyuu. Like I mentioned, it's legitimately like just one of the only digital art pieces that I could find from this time. Doesn't mean I don't love it, I just, you know, don't really like it. It's kind of ugly. But you know, that's why we're here. We are here to take my 13-year-old dreams and make them a reality. Well, to the best of my abilities. I mean, I'm not the perfect artist. Nobody is. Especially not me. The last few attempts were taking old art and completely redrawing it, but I wanted to take my own brain for a second and draw my own illustration, so I decided to draw Teto, Teto, Teto. Also, gang, we're getting another Teto figure. This is the second, like, Teto figure ever. I want it. I need it. I need it. Someone donate the money to give me /J, unless... With the other redraw attempts, I started with doing the reimagining style first, but with this one I decided to start with my present style first. And then with that finished illustration, I would go directly over it with line art. Kind of similar to what I did for the first digital redraw, but, you know, on purpose this time. Doing this makes it a little bit harder to tell the difference between the two styles overall, but makes it a little bit easier to see when you look closer. Really being able to see the difference between the facial anatomy, the way I did the clothing, and how different the line weight is between these two styles. I didn't change the rendering at all just to save some time, but I kind kind of wish I did looking back at it, because there's no way that my shading style would be exactly how I do it today. I mean, like, come on. I feel like if I was to pinpoint it, the reimagining of my old style would probably be a little bit more cell shading heavy, which is not really what my art style is right now. I would say that this is the most interesting attempt out of these final ones. I really love flipping on and off the layers to see what the difference is between them. I mean, that's the whole reason why I'm making this video. I love stuff like this. Seeing the difference of what I wanted as a 13-year-old and what I want now just is so weird, you know? We as artists change and we as people change. Things that I like now are things that I never thought I could get into when I was 13. Like, I never thought I would ever be able to play Hollow Knight, and I beat the damn game. I find it really satisfying to see the difference between these two styles, and I mean, given the right circumstances, this could have been how I draw now. Like, this could have been me, gang. I really wanted to make a few more examples of redraws because there's just so much art for when I was 13, so many cool things I could have done, but I just simply don't have time. Deadlines, blah, trip coming up, blah. Yeah, I should tell you about that. I'm going to VidCon, not as a featured creator, but just as an attendee. So if you see a blonde they with red underdye in their hair, that could very well be me. So, like, you know, if you see me, you should, like, come say hi. This video was super fun to do. So if you've ever felt like in your art journey you've had a massive style overhaul, maybe you should join me and do something like this. Make a video on it, don't make a video on it, I don't really care. Trying to draw different styles is such a great way to improve your art anyway, so why not give it a try? Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you for almost 30,000 subscribers. What? Chat, if we hit 30k at VidCon, I will throw it back on camera. Oh my god. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you so much to everyone who has made me fan art. I love you so much. You're so awesome. Can't wait to see you guys in the next video. Bye. I'm gonna try not to get incinerated by the California sun now. I wasn't built to be put in the sun. Let's just put it like that, gang.